Welcome to all. So today our topic is structure of tooth. So first of all, the study of tooth. The study of tooth. The study of tooth is called. The study of tooth is called dentology. The study of tooth is called dentology. Now in human being, the tooth is ectomesodermal origin. Ectomesodermal origin. So what is the ectomesodermal origin? Ectomesodermal origin means during the embryonic development, some part of the tooth developed from ectoderm, some part of the tooth developed from the mesoderm. So that's why it is called as a ectomesodermal in origin. Now the tooth is anatomically divided into entire tooth anatomically divided into three parts. Anatomically divided into three parts. So which the first one, the upper part is called as the upper part of the tooth is called as a crown. What is the upper part here? Crown. So the upper part of the tooth, it is upper part of the tooth. The crown is upper part. The upper part of tooth. Upper part. Now the second one, the middle part of the tooth is called as a neck. The middle part of the tooth is called as a neck. And the last one, the lower part of the tooth is called as a root. The lower part of the tooth is called as a root. So total, the tooth divided into three parts. The first upper part is called crown, the middle part is called neck, and the lower part is called root. So neck is the middle part. It is the middle part of tooth, and the lower part, root is the lower part of the tooth. So tooth divided into three parts. Uppermost part which is visible or which is exposed to outside of the gums is called crown. The middle part which is at the gums level, present at gums level is called neck. The lower part which is embedded in the socket of jawbone is called as a root. Now come to the next one. We know that the tooth is ectomesodermal origin. Why? Because so first of all, the bulk of tooth. What do you mean by the bulk? Bulk to say major portion, the majority percentage of tooth. The bulk of tooth composed of a material is called as a dentine. The bulk of tooth composed of which material here? Dentine. The bulk of tooth composed of dentine. The dentine is secreted by this dentine. The dentine secreted by odontoblast cells. The dentine secreted by which cells here? Odontoblast cells. The dentine secreted by odontoblast cells. So these odontoblast cells are mesodermal origin. The odontoblast cells are mesodermal origin. So this is the bulk of the, for example, when we can observe the diagram, so this is the portion, the major portion of the tooth. The major portion of the tooth is composed of which material here? Dentine. The dentine secreted by odontoblast cell. The odontoblast cells are mesodermal origin. Now the another most important part, the crown part of the dentine. Which part of the dentine? Crown part. The crown part of dentine covered by. For example, here observe the diagram. Which part of the crown part. The crown part of the dentine covered by a shiny white color material. The crown part of the dentine covered by shiny white color material. So this shiny white color material is called as a enamel. What is the name of material? Enamel. So it is covered by the substance material is called. The material is called enamel. What is the specialty? Enamel is the hardest substance in the body. Enamel is the hardest substance. It is the hardest substance in the human body, or hardest material in the human body. At the same time, the enamel secreted by the cell's name is ameoblast cells. Enamel secreted by which cells here? Ameoblast cell. These ameoblast cells are ectodermal origin. The ameoblast cells are ectodermal origin. So that is the reason. For example, you have looked at that teeth is ectomesodermal. So why? Because we have to say some part of the tooth here. What is the part here? Dentine. Dentine developed from the mesoderm by the odontoblasts cells. What about the second most important part here? Enamel. So enamel is developed from, or enamel secreted by the ameoblast cells. These ameoblast cells are ectodermal in origin. Ectodermal in origin. Let's come to that. So inside of the tooth. Inside of the tooth there is a small cavity. So the cavity is called as a pulp cavity. The cavity is called pulp cavity. So inside of the tooth there is a small cavity present. This is the inside of the tooth there is a small cavity. So this cavity is called as a pulp cavity. The pulp cavity contains blood vessels. The pulp cavity contains blood vessels and also contain the nerves. So it mainly composed of the blood vessels and nerves, and the most important thing is the pulp cavity lined by odontoblasts cells. The pulp cavity lined by which cells here? Odontoblasts cells. Now the last one, the tooth, the root part of the tooth embedded into the sockets of jawbone. So which help of the structure's name is called as a cementum. What is the name of structure here? Cementum. Here look at that. This layer is called as a cementum. That layer is called cementum. And the another layer is called as a periodontal membrane. Cementum and periodontal membrane. Cementum and periodontal. Cementum and periodontal membrane. These both are helps. The cementum and periodontal membrane help fix the teeth or fix the tooth into socket of jawbone. So with help of the cementum, with help of the periodontal membrane, the tooth fixed into the socket of jawbone. So that's why the human dentition is called as a thecodont dentition. Human dentition is called as a thecodont. So what is the meaning of thecodont? Fix the tooth into the socket of jawbone. So which structures are helps here? Cementum, and the second one is called as a periodontal membrane. Cementum and periodontal membrane. So this is the short information about the structure of tooth. So there is a brief revision. What about the study of tooth? Study of tooth is called as a dentology, and tooth is ecto-mesodermal origin, divided into how many parts here? 3 parts: crown, neck, root. Crown is the upper part, neck is the middle part, and root is the lower part. And the bulk of the tooth composed of dentine. The dentine is secreted by odontoblast cells, and the odontoblast cells are mesodermal origin. And the crown part of the dentine covered by the white color substance is called enamel. It is the hardest substance in the body. It is secreted by the osteoblast cells which are ectodermal in origin. Now inside of the tooth, there is a small cavity present. The cavity is called as a pulp cavity. What is the name of cavity here? Pulp cavity. The pulp cavity possesses blood vessels, nerves, and lined by the odontoblast cells. Now which structures are help to fix the tooth into the socket of jaw? Both cementum and periodontal ligament. So this is the short information of the structure of human tooth. So thank you so much.